In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the best trading methods in the game alongside position change trading, and that is actually chem style trading. And so far this year, it has to be one of the most effective methods to do early on into the game, and it's probably going to be one of the best methods to do throughout the entirety of FIFA. If you guys do enjoy today's video and it helps you guys out, please consider dropping a like. If we can hit 20 likes on this video, I'll drop another method coming out later this week that you guys will also enjoy a ton. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so FIFA 22 is actually out for everybody with Ultimate Edition now, which is really nice to have finally. But we're going to be going over the chem style trading method. It's super effective, and I'm going to show you guys step by step what I do when looking for these cards and how you can pick them up and trade with them very fast. Now, there's actually two different ways that you guys can go about trading like this. You can go player specific, or you can actually use a certain filter that I've kind of been using recently. However, it's a little bit harder for you guys to kind of use. So for those that don't know and did not watch the position change video, it's basically the same kind of process. What we're going to be doing is looking for players with certain chem styles on, and those are going to be your hunter and shadow and stuff like that. So for example, I guess we used Gabriel Jesus as our example last time, and he'll be fine to use again. So Gabriel Jesus right now is sitting at, I know he's down a little bit. He's probably sitting at around 6K. We did obviously get, a huge kind of supply wave coming in. So right now he's sitting at 6K. So 6K is his flat price, but notice something, guys. There are no Hunter Gabriel Jesus's in here. So what we can do is actually go to chemistry style, and then we can go and find Hunter, which should be right here. And what we can do is then try and find his Hunter price, which could be a considerable amount more, which it usually ends up being about 2K more than his current price. So right there, you can see they're about 7.5K. Now, what people don't know, and sometimes these prices will fluctuate. It might be more, it might be less sometimes. It depends on the hour, and that's why you always want to check both the prices. What oftentimes happens is people don't understand that the Hunter versions might sell for a little bit more than the normal market price. Now, of course, when I'm making this video, guys, please consider we're in the middle of the Ultimate Edition crash. So there is a lot more supply on the market, but like earlier today, this was working very well. But what you guys can do is, we know he goes for 6K. We can just set our prices here, and we can actually just kind of start sniping until one pops up. It's a really easy and simple method to do. And you have to be patient with it if you keep searching and stuff. But eventually they start popping up, and it's super easy to make coins because you can instantly resell him for like 7.5K, and they sell really fast. Another one who's a really decent one is Alan St. Maximin. I love St. Maximin's card for this. He was a gem for me earlier today, and I'll show you guys my transfer list. So the Hunter at minimum sells for 22K on St. Maximin. So as you guys can see here, today it was about 21.5 when I was trading with him. But super nice price right there. However, his current market price and his price when I was doing this earlier today was at 18K. Now he might actually be a little bit lower. Now he held his price pretty well. So 18, 17K for the regular St. Maximin. So what you guys can do is see if a Hunter pops up at this price, and you could look to resell for 22K. It's a 4K gap if you buy at about 18K. After tax, it ends up being about like 3.5K profit, 3K profit, which is really good for this method. And again, they pop up very often, so you're able to keep doing this and making coins. However, as I said, St. Maximin is a really good example of this one because he has a good price kind of gap, I guess. Now, I will advise that you guys don't end up going more than, say, 25K as far as the player prices go, because you then do get into a point where you have to kind of play with the tax, and the tax, it gets pretty hefty when you start moving up past this point, and you need like bigger gaps on snipes, and it's just not worth your time. So try to stick to players who are under 25K, and of course use players that are going to be meta, because you'll find them way more often, especially right when the game launches. So I did delete most of my transfer list earlier, but these were a few guys that I found were very successful with. Suarez today, I was able to find a bunch of Hunters on Suarez for like 11 and 10K. Verratti was a lucky one. I don't know why he's still on the list. But Mahrez, for example, he was a fun one because his price was like 12k, 12.5k. I was finding a bunch of Mahrez's and I was able to flip him right away. Royce was a lot cheaper one. He was sitting at about 7k before the crash came. And I was able to flip them for 2k at a really easy flip, guys. Buying them at like 6, 7k and then flipping them for nearly 9k. No tax at all, so it's a lot of profit on him. Martial was very similar. You could find him for about like 9.5k. Hunter's resold for 2k more. And then here was St. Maximin. He actually sold for 21k for me earlier today. But, you know, really nice and really easy to do. And I made a good amount of coins doing this. Now, you guys can do the exact same thing with Shadow. And I'm going to show you guys one card that I like to do defensively. Kind of the same as the position trade one. And that's Reece James. Reece James, I just love his card. He is out of position, and he also is a good defender. You know, not many people are using 5-backs this year, especially because it seems the 4-3-2-1 is a really effective kind of tactic to use, I guess. However, Reece James, he's sitting like literally under a K, which I think is ridiculous for his card. You might want to try and find maybe another defender that is a little bit higher in price because Reece James is getting quite low. However, as you guys can see, without any shadow or anything on, he's selling for about 1.2k it looks like, which is not bad, but it's not great. So with a shadow though, let's take a look at what he sells for. With a shadow, you'll notice that he does sell for a considerable amount more, which I think is massive. Look at this. No shadows at 3k, no shadows at 4k. Like, it's ridiculous how expensive he is with a shadow. I actually don't know if any are gonna pop up. So right now, his shadow prices sell for about 5k. Now, it is a little bit later at night, so maybe it's not as significant. Maybe it's not as, like, significantly high as this 5k. But I haven't checked the price of shadows. But if shadows are this expensive, you know, you'll find a good amount. So what you guys can do is obviously just look to snipe under that certain price. And just take a look here. You know, if one does pop up, which we probably aren't going to get lucky with one not popping up just because it's late at night. But one that pops up while you're sniping, that's a huge deal that you guys can make. Now, of course, a lot of people ask me, how do you know how much to list over the price? Usually I just do it based off what the price is of the current chem style. Now, the price of a hunter card is about 2k and the price of a shadow card is about 3k, hence why Reece James actually was a little bit more than his price compared to the forwards that we went over. Now, I would show you guys more on my console, however, my Elgato is just crapping out right now, so I'm sorry. But when you guys are looking for players, you really can just choose any meta players from the popular page that, again, are under like 20k. So for example, Chiesa would be a really good one with a hunter. St. Maximin, as we went over. Even Malin, maybe, if you could find a few. João Felix is not a bad shout. Koundé's not a bad shout. Sane was a really successful one I did today. Zaha's not a bad shout. Sissoko with maybe a shadow isn't a bad one either. You guys can go through all of these. Now, I was going to show you guys a filter before the console pooped out, but the filter that you guys can actually use is you set like the min and the bot and the max to about 10 to 20k. Only filter gold rares and stuff like that, or even, you know, whatever specials with either hunter or shadow, and then you guys can skip to the end and see what cards are close to their prices. It does kind of require you to know the prices of the cards, which is why I kind of saved this for the end, because it might not be as effective for everybody. But nonetheless, it still works if you know the prices and you're a little bit patient with what pops up. However, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys drop a thumbs up and let me know any questions you have down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and until next time, peace.